Hey Cam, my man, it's so nice to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
Thanks for having me. Thank you for having me, man.
Beautiful, beautiful, and thank you so very much for being here. You see, I truly appreciate it. And you see, Cam, oftentimes I love to thank my guests for two things, and I do this so often to the point where it has become an anthem. So, firstly, my man, I want to say thank you for investing in yourself. You see, you are on this platform right now, right here, because you invested in yourself. And oftentimes, my mind, I love to make reference to the amazing mango tree. You see, some months back, I was on a particular road, and just by the roadside, there was this tall, unattractive mango tree. And I use the word unattractive because the mango tree's got no mangoes on it, and the leaves were all dry. So I just walked past it and I went my way. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I just walked past it and I went my way. But you see, Cam, just recently I was on that same road. And this time around, a lot's changed about the mango tree. You see, the mango tree caught my attention pretty good from a distance. And immediately I got the urge to move so close to it, of which I did, and it wowed me. Because now the mango tree's got a lot of mangoes on it, beautiful green leaves and healthy branches. It was a beautiful moment that day, my man. I was so excited. What a special moment. Here is my point. The fact that you dedicated your time, energy, and resources to becoming the amazing calm that you are today, that alone has made it really impossible for me to skip you. And that's why you see you got the request from me to be on the show because I was attracted to the fruit of all that you're doing, the impact your work is having, your philosophies, your insight, and what you're doing and how you're offering your solution. It's amazing. And just before you got the request from me, I was going through your bio and I said to myself, I've got to benefit from this beautiful things Cam is doing. Not only me now, but even the audience. And here we are today with the amazing Cam. So thank you so very much for investing in yourself and thank you for being here. I truly appreciate it, my man. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Awesome. So let's get started, Cam. You see, I'm quite excited to have you on the show today for some reasons, or two reasons. Firstly, my interest in knowledge seeking. I believe in order for one to transition from a terrible situation to that of a beautiful one, Cam, I believe it takes the application of knowledge, quality information, and not just knowledge now, but the application of it. And you see, Cam, ever since I discovered that light in the Hebrew means knowledge and darkness means ignorance, I've been so keen to knowledge seeking because I do not want to remain in the dark. So that's going to make our conversation today very important to me and even to the listeners. The second reason why I'm excited to have the amazing Cam on the show is for the sake of the audience. You see, Cam, we live in an age where information is as abundant as grains of sand. We've got lots of information flying out there. So these folks trust me for quality, eye-opening, and very important information, of which I am totally convinced that our conversation is going to be insightful and impactful. So for that reason, cameraman, let's get started with your introduction. Talk to us about your personal or professional journey, because right now we are just so curious. We want to know how Cam got here. Then afterwards, I've got some beautiful questions for you. Okay, Cam, over to you.
Okay, great. So my name's Cam F. Awesome. I was born and raised in New York, and I dealt with bullying as a teenager and decided to join the boxing gym because I thought I didn't want to be a victim. And I thought if I joined the boxing gym and I looked like a boxer, people would leave me alone and I'd be more intimidating. So I went to the boxing gym not to be a boxer, but to work out to look like a boxer. And I thought the harder I worked out, the quicker it would happen. And I was afraid because I was afraid of always getting into a fight or I was afraid to get beat up. And what I realized is fear is a great motivator. And what it showed me was because I worked out so hard, I became better than the naturally talented boxers. And I realized there's something that naturally talented people don't have a lot of the times because when you're naturally gifted, you don't try that hard. So you never learn how to do the difficult things or consistency. What I learned was TNT, the things that take no talent. Showing up on time takes no talent. Being consistent takes no talent. Being positive takes no talent. And those are the things that I used to become the number one boxer in the United States in less than 2 years. I ended up I ended up becoming the number one boxer in the United States for about 10 years. I traveled to over 30 countries fighting the number one boxers in each country. I was captain of the USA national boxing team. I've won 12 national championships, and I have more boxing wins than any other boxer in U.S. history. And it's all because that mango tree that you talk about, I planted
Yeah.
seeds years ago that when someone looks at me now and they see the fruit that I'm bearing, this didn't happen overnight. I've been planting these seeds since 2005 when I first started boxing. So I heard it, people say it takes 10 years to be an overnight success. It's taken me closer to 20. And I would say the way I got here was I'm a combination of a lot of advice from a lot of people. And I like to meet successful and unsuccessful people and ask them, how did you end up here? The same question you're asking me. And what I realize is I learn even more from the people I don't want to be like because I find out what not to do. And I would say, don't take everything I say with a grain of salt. Take everything everyone says with a grain of salt, because I got to this position in life by questioning everything. And I'll meet someone, I'll get their advice, I'll throw away 95% of the things they said, and I'll only take the 5% that applies to me. There's so many people who are giving great advice, but they don't have all the answers. And if they did have all the answers, those answers are specifically for them, not for you. So find the things that work for you and throw away the rest. Trust your intuition.
Very, very profound statement. And deep one at that. You see, your journey is so inspiring and your story is very, very motivating. You see, I used to be bullied too back then, but I never thought about starting becoming a boxer though. But that's a beautiful one, you see. And I love the fact that you share that with us. So I'm just curious, all right? How do you mentally recover from a tough loss, or should I say failure?
I don't believe in failures. I believe in filters. Every time something
Say
doesn't
that again.
work,
Filters.
I don't believe in failures. I believe in filters.
Hmm.
When I try something and I fail, all I do is realize, hey, what doesn't work? And I filter those things out. And now I'm doing less of the things I'm not supposed to be doing. So an example I like to give when it comes to failure is, let's say you're in primary school, you're in grade school. Let's say you fail 8th grade and you have to take it over again. Wouldn't it be easier the second time around? So many times in life when we fall short or we fail, that's when we want to give up. But that's literally when we have experience on our side. The reason why I got to 400 wins in boxing is not because I'm this great undefeated boxer. I have 39 filters. I've lost 39 times. And each of those times I've lost, I learned something that helped get me to 400 wins. But so many of us lose 10 times and say, oh, well, I'm done. Good boxers don't lose 10 times. Successful people don't lose 10 times. Successful people don't fall on their face 10 times. But it took me falling on my face 39 times to become who I am.
Profound. Deep words from Cam, you see. It's as though you shouldn't even stop talking. That's so there's this part I love, all right? Why did you change your last name to Awesome? I love it though.
A lot of people, I get some pushback on why I changed my last name to Awesome. But when I was boxing in 2012, I won the Olympic trials to represent the U.S. in the London Olympics. And then I got kicked off the team for not sending an email saying that I was leaving the country. The drug testing agency came to my house to give me a random drug test, and I forgot to tell them that I was leaving the country. I left the country to fight in a tournament you get drug tested to fight in. But because I wasn't home, I got suspended. And before I got suspended, I was this very confident person. I thought I had everything figured out. I believed in myself. I celebrated myself. I motivated myself. I loved myself. And then when I got kicked off the Olympic team, all those things went away. And one of the comments I read on social media often was, I bet he's humble now, because I was cocky back then. And I looked up the definition of humble, and I realized that humility is the cornerstone for imposter syndrome. So many of us suffer with imposter syndrome. And what that means is we work really hard to get somewhere. And once we reach that destination, we don't feel like we deserve to be there. If you look up the definition of humble, it's having or showing a low or modest estimate of one's own importance. The Latin root word is lowly. So I thought to myself, how could I ever reach high for the stars if I'm remained grounded or lowly? And I realized the success I had in life and the success I had in boxing is when I was walking into the ring knowing I was the best. But after I got kicked off the Olympic team, I lost that. And I started speaking negatively about myself. Elijah, how often do you think about what you think about? And when you do think about that, you'll realize that no one thinks about you, Elijah, more than you think about yourself. No one hears the things you say to yourself, how often you beat yourself up, how kind are you to you? If you schedule this podcast, but you got the time zone wrong, are you like, oh, Elijah, you idiot, you stupid, you never get anything right? So many times I see people talk to themselves and they become the person they speak. So an example is someone will say, oh, I'm terrible with technology. So as soon as they run into any issues with technology, they automatically just throw their hands in the air and quit because they're not good at technology. And they never learn how to get good at technology because they've spoken that they're not good at it. I decided to speak that I am awesome, that I am amazing, that I'm worthy. And it does rub people the wrong way that I think that of myself. But I can't let that stop me. Yeah. I changed my last name to Awesome as a reminder that I am awesome. So many of us do these affirmations over and over saying, I'm worthy, I'm worth it. All you're doing is saying, I'm not humble. Because being humble is not saying that you're worthy and you're worth everything. It's saying that you're small and you're insignificant in my eyes. Now, there's a religious context to humility, which I'm not very religious and I don't think it serves me personally. But if it brings other people value, then I wish humility on them. But it's not something I genuinely wish upon myself.
Got it. Okay, so what inspired you to transition from boxing to motivational speaking? Can you share that with us?
Yeah. So I didn't ever want to be a boxer. I wanted to have my own TV show. I wanted to be a performer. But when I was boxing, I loved professional wrestling, like The Rock, Mankind, Stone Cold. So I became a character in boxing, and I would flip in the ring and I would do dances and I would do crazy interviews because I wanted to be a performer. And then when I got kicked off the Olympic team, I realized like I'm no longer boxing. I've never performed. So I started doing stand-up comedy in 2012. And I started performing that way. And I would go back to schools and I would do these 1-hour comedy shows. All the jokes have morals and messages attached, but I would be talking about bullying, mindset, and kindness at schools. And the more I did it, the better I got, which that's amazing. The more you do something, the better you become. The reason why I became one of the best boxers in U.S. history is not because I was naturally gifted. I just had more boxing matches than anyone else. So, Elijah, this is how it works. If you have 200 boxing matches and we're the same age and weight, and I have 3 boxing matches, you have 200 and I have 3, and we were to fight, who do you think would win? The more experienced boxer.
That should be, yeah, exactly.
So in my mind, My first 100 boxing matches didn't matter. What I needed to do was get 100 boxing matches so I could have more experience than everyone else. Because the more you do
Mm,
something, the more comfortable you are, the better you get. So when I started speaking, the more I would speak at schools, the better I got. And I realized that's the secret to everything. But so many of us are afraid to look foolish when we first start doing something. But looking foolish is the cost of entry. That's the price of admission. And if you can get past the hump of being bad at something, you become more experienced at it and you have a better understanding of it. Whether that's boxing, whether that's speaking, whether that's basketball, whether that's podcast hosting, Elijah. I'm sure you're right now you're an amazing host. That intro, Elijah, just the way you
thank you.
speak, the way you share your stories is beautiful, brother. Is beautiful. But I bet you weren't like this on your first podcast, were you?
Ouch. Nah, nah, nah. How was it?
Yeah. So what you have to do in life is you have to go through the bad parts to finally get good. But Elijah, after you did all of your bad interviews and you messed up lines and you messed up intros and you tried things out, but it didn't work. After you did all that and you're here now and you're obviously an amazing host, why would you pretend you're not? And to me,
Got
humility
that.
is pretending you're not. That's false humility. You know you're great, brother.
So true. Okay. You see, it's been a very, very insightful moment with you on the show, Cam, my man. I really enjoyed that conversation. But I have one more question to go. So, for folks who are struggling to believe in themselves, what is one piece of advice you'd like to share with them?
Ooh, for people that are struggling, here's something I realized during my struggling times. When you enter a struggle period, you might be struggling for a year. And when I realize I'm going to be struggling for a year, I think, okay, this year is going to be miserable no matter what. I'm going to add as much misery as I can tolerate to work on myself. So if I understand this year is not going to be a good year, I know that mango tree is not going to bear fruit the first year. But I'm going to spend a year planting as many of those seeds as possible, because if I don't plant those seeds now, I'm not going to get the fruit later. And if it takes 3 years for that mango to blossom, that mango tree to blossom, I might as well start now than start 3 years from now. So for the people who are struggling or suffering, don't be a victim. The power is in your, even if you have been a victim, don't react as a victim, because you have the power to change your own circumstances. And if you don't believe you have the power to change your own circumstances won't change. Take control of your own life.
Powerful words. Take control of your own life. I got that. And I'll take that as a final thought. So to bring this to an end, Cam, for folks who would like to reach out to you, learn more about everything we've discussed, or would love to ask you some questions, how can that be possible?
You can find me at CamFAwesome on all social media platforms and CamFAwesome.com. I'm a multi-time national champion heavyweight Olympic boxer and former captain of the USA national boxing team. I've traveled to all over the world, and my job as captain was to find the do's and don'ts about each country, relay the message to my teammates so we're respectful ambassadors in other countries. I've put my foot in my mouth in a lot of countries and messed up a lot of cultural communication, and I'm now an expert on it. So I speak on mindset, resilience, and the power of a positive internal dialogue, as well as cultural communication within the workplace. So if any of those sound of interest to you, please reach out to me at camfawesome.com.
Awesome. So that's going to be the end of the show, Cam. Thank you for coming and thank you for sharing this beautiful stuff with us. It means a whole lot, my man. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
That was a